Welcome back. Iranian leaders say that their country will not yield to the Trump administration's demands that it dismantle its nuclear program. In a speech hours ago, the country's supreme leader said that the U.S. proposal undermines Iran's sovereignty. And the Iranian president says that he will, quote, not compromise on our scientific, expert, and nuclear rights in any way. The U.S. is pushing for a new nuclear deal with Iran, a deal which Tehran is now calling incoherent and disjointed. Still, a U.S. State Department spokesperson says that the White House is not backing down on its demands.
The fact is, President Trump tweeted that there is going to be no uranium enrichment. The maximum pressure campaign on Iran remains in full force.
Okay, let's get to CNN's Fred Pleitgen, who joins us live this morning from Berlin. Fred, great to see you. After weeks of nuclear talks between the U.S. and Iran, there is still no definitive agreement. What seems to be the missing ingredient here to seal any sort of deal?
Uranium seems to be the missing ingredient, and what exactly to do with it. One of the things that we heard today, and it was really interesting to hear that speech from Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who's of course the supreme leader of Iran and the final authority on anything that happens in Iran, including whether or not there's going to be some sort of nuclear agreement with the United States, where he called the leadership of the United States both rude and arrogant. And I think one of the things that we sort of focused on that speech is that he said that enrichment of uranium, enrichment done by Iran, that is key to Iran's nuclear program, that it's something that Iran has sacrificed a lot for, and certainly something that the Iranians are not going to back down from. He said that he believes that is the reason why, as he put it, the enemies of Iran, of course meaning the United States, were trying to get Iran to stop that enrichment. But he also said that the U.S. can't do anything about it, meaning enrichment, that the Iranians were going to continue enrichment. That, of course, on the face of it, seems to be pretty clear words towards the Trump administration, towards the United States, that the Iranians are not going to go for any agreement that would not allow Iran to have its own domestically produced centrifuges and also the enrichment that is done with those. That's, of course, a technology that the Iranians have been developing for a very long period of time, and also one that the United States fears could give Iran a path to a nuclear weapon, even though the Iranians have consistently said that they are not seeking a nuclear weapon. And so we had President Trump a couple of days ago tweeting that under any sort of agreement there would not be any enrichment done by the Iranians. What we've learned is that in that proposal that was put forward by the Trump administration, that they seem to be seeking some sort of consortium where the U.S. might actually invest in Iran's civilian nuclear sector, and other countries would be involved as well, Middle Eastern countries and also the International Atomic Energy Agency. But what we've been hearing consistently from the Iranians is that they say that enrichment needs to stay in Iran, it needs to be in Iran, and it needs to be Iranian, and it's not something that they are going to be willing to back down from. That certainly seems to be maybe not the missing ingredient, but definitely the ingredient that the two sides seem to have a lot of trouble coming to terms with.
Yeah, and clearly it's a very important issue for both sides, so it's hard to sort of see where things go from here to that point. Fred, last week, Trump said that they were close to a solution. Our reporting suggests that, according to sources familiar with the talks, that momentum appears to be fading. So are the next round of talks set? I mean, what happens now?
Yeah, I don't think that the next round of talks are set. I think that both sides believe that the talks will continue in some way, shape, or form, even though it's not clear when those talks are going to happen and how those talks are going to happen. First of all, you're absolutely right that issue of uranium enrichment is definitely the key one and the most difficult one. And we have heard from some folks in Iran, Iranian officials, who have said that they're highly disappointed in the proposal that was put forward by the United States, and specifically when it pertains to enrichment. And of course, the U.S. has said that for their part, or at least the Trump administration has said that they believe that there should be no enrichment. However, what we've heard from Iran's foreign minister, who's been on a trip in the Middle East, is that the Iranians are going to respond to the U.S. proposal within the next couple of days, and that then they were going to see how things move forward from there. So certainly it does not appear as though the nuclear talks that are going on, the negotiations process, is anywhere near dead, or that the two sides are going to say that they're going to discontinue that process. It just seems as though that issue of uranium enrichment, Iranian uranium enrichment, is definitely one where the two sides are having a lot of problems finding to one another, and finding especially wording where both sides can say, look, we got what we wanted out of this and we can move forward towards a deal. Rahel.
Okay, a lot to watch here. Fred Pleitgen, live for us here in Berlin. Fred, thank you.